All right, here we go. Another Sunday down in the football season. We still got a lot more to go, and I'm excited for that, as I'm sure you all are.
Hmm.
But hello guys, welcome here. First off, I want to say thank you to all the veterans, current, presently serving in the military. Forgot to do that last Sunday. I feel terrible, but want to say thanks to all of you because we get to do this. Granted, this might not be a good reason to do this, but hey, I'll leave that for you to decide. So coming up, we're going to talk the World Series. We got to talk Frank Reich. That's going to be a big topic today because this is just a mess down in Indy. But then we're also going to talk Tinkle on this, a fun one this week. But let's begin with the takeaways. You started last time, right? Or did I start?
Oh yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it was me that started last time.
All
So
right.
it's you.
All right, let's do this. So, the Chargers, oh my goodness, I got to start with that game because, man, it was the choker bowl. When I thought the choking was done, it just finds a new way back into the playbook. The Chargers went full choke. Austin Eckler fumbles the football. Then the defense recovers. It looked like it was going to be a fumble six. Then one of the Chargers caught up to the lineman that recovered it, made him fumble, and then an offensive lineman fell on top of it, which ultimately led to not D-Hop, or, Dustin Hopkins, is what I should say. D-Hop's Arizona. But, it went from Mr. Hopkins to Dicker the Kicker, is what he's been nicknamed this week now, ever since that win. You got Greg the Leg, now you got Dicker the Kicker. And Dicker the Kicker wins the game for the Chargers. But Chargers won it in the most Charger way possible. Meanwhile, the Falcons lost it in the most Falcons way possible.
Funny how that works.
Just, I got no words other than that. No words. But I have to talk about it. I have to put my point across there. Just what the hell.
Hey, a win's a win.
All right. I'm not going to spend much time on that because you know what? It's stuff like that's just not worth my time. This shouldn't even be in my takeaways. This should be the Tinkle on this, but honorary mention. Why do you think I'm drinking? But all right, with that, on the next one, and this might be a warning sign to the LA Lakers, the LA Clippers, and the Golden State Warriors. This might be a big warning coming up to them. The Miami Heat have just lost their arena sponsor after the company FTX has filed for bankruptcy. And for those who don't know, FTX is a crypto company. Yes. Roll my eyes. I guess fortune doesn't favor the brave anymore. And it doesn't favor the Miami Heat. So FTX Arena will remain FTX Arena for this weekend's matchup against the Hornets, but then it's going to be renamed eventually once they find a new sponsor. Now, the reason I say that the Warriors should be concerned, I believe, but for sure the Lakers should definitely be concerned.
Yeah, well, Lakers and Clippers, but eventually the Clippers are going to be having a brand new stadium. So they're kind of in the clear for right now. The Lakers, the Staples Center got changed to a cryptocurrency name. It's been Staples Center for so long. Now, the real question is, does Miami Heat go back to their old sponsor of American Airlines and be the American Airlines Arena again?
Yeah. I have no clue. I mean, this is just going to be a
Honestly,
fun
it
one to
would be
watch.
totally fine with that. Same thing with the Lakers. Make it the freaking Staples Center again.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Staples isn't really as big as they used to be, and really not the greatest sponsor in the world, but it's been Staples Center for years. Bring it back to being called Staples Center.
So you got so many companies that would step up and sponsor them in a heartbeat. But yeah, you got to do that. And don't even think about bringing in the vaping companies, because you know that one's been rising too lately. But
yeah.
Why not name it the Kobe Arena? How's about that? Because you know Kobe raised quite a few banners in that arena. But you know the days of naming arenas after players has long gone. But nonetheless, it will definitely impact them. By the way, the Portland Trailblazers, and I looked this up, they have StormX, which is a startup crypto company that pays cashback awards on online purchases. That logo is on their jerseys. This could also impact them, too, in a way, in the future. If, you know, this very well could be the downfall of, you know, crypto sponsors.
And
I hope so. You know, personally, and I hate diving into this, but just honestly, crypto's such a waste, honestly. Such a waste. I'm sorry.
Right.
I didn't want to give an opinion on it, you know, because there's a lot that goes into it, but I gotta say, crypto is just dumb. Sorry. But yeah, so with that, let's move on to the third takeaway. And we got to talk the early college football playoff rankings because they just came out the first time this year. And right now, you can judge by the fact that Alabama is now a 2-loss team that they are probably not going to be a team that represents the FBS this season. Not. So you could probably guess that right about now. So right now it's Georgia number 1, the defending champions. They are currently the number 1 seed if the season ended today. Ohio State would be number 2. Michigan would be number 3. And I believe this would be a first time ever, but TCU would be the 4th seed.
That's kind of interesting to see that TCU is even as high as they are, because usually they're like the bottom of the pack.
Yeah.
Michigan is usually up there, I mean, with Coach Harbaugh. Ohio State, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were there last year and played up against Georgia. So, it'd be interesting. I mean, Georgia, who knows? They might just repeat. But
yeah. Well, I think what's going to be interesting. Oh, sorry. But I was going to say what might be interesting is the 2 versus 3 if that stays the same. Ohio State and Michigan. That's probably the biggest rivalry in college football right now. So that might be one to watch when we get to that point, if it stays this way. You know, the last few years, Ohio State and Michigan have put on probably the biggest games of the year. And I mean, you know, we obviously have Syracuse, Clemson. We might, you know, we have Alabama, Georgia. We had Alabama, Auburn a few years ago when Auburn was in the race. But this one's by far the biggest now that Jim Harbaugh has put Michigan back on the map. And it only took him a handful of years to do so. But I'm intrigued, you know, and again, I don't watch much college football. I just don't like how the playoffs are set. I think it's kind of rigged in favor of the Big 5 conferences there, the Power 5. But I gotta say, you know, this would be a power matchup right there. But with that, I'm going to turn things over to you for your takeaways here.
All right, so it was very sloppy game yet again for the Buffalo Bills. And, a lot of Bills fans are probably going to be like, well, they didn't have a lot of pieces on the defense. That shouldn't matter whatsoever. I don't care who we have out there on that defense. I don't care who we have on the offense. Josh Allen shouldn't be the leading rusher. You have 3 decent running backs that you could have utilized in this game to really, keep the defense at bay. And you use Josh Allen more. And fortunately, he did suffer a hurt tendon in his elbow. He didn't practice Wednesday. He didn't practice Thursday. Of course, we're recording on a Friday. He was limited. He actually was on the practice field on Friday. So, as far as, him playing later on today, it'd be cool. Do I think it's very logical? Definitely not. But if he does play, hopefully he can be Josh Allen that throws over 300 yards, has, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and hardly any picks, maybe absolutely none. Especially against a team like Minnesota who is riding the hot hand. Yeah, they've beaten a lot of crappy teams. Don't get me wrong, they're not a very credible 7-1 team. Buffalo, I think, is a lot more credible at 6-2 than Minnesota is at 7-1. But if Bills keep on playing the way that they do, it's going to be a bad one. But I think they're going to have a lot of pieces at play. Matt Milano should be back from a 1-game absence of oblique injury as he practiced fully 2 days in a row. Tre'Davious White was not on the injury report, so Tre'Davious White is going to make his season debut against the Minnesota Vikings. What a great time to have Tre'Davious White back. Oh, I am so happy. So happy being a Bills fan to see that we're going to have Tre'Davious White back in a game that you're going to have to deal with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and TJ Hawkinson. I'm so happy to see that he's back. Especially with Kaiir Elam out. He's doubtful for this game. He didn't practice whatsoever. So, that Tre'Davious White out there. Personally, if I'm the Bills, I would take Xavier Rhodes off of the practice squad and pair him up with Tre'Davious White instead of having Benford, a rookie, match up against 2 of the better receivers in the NFC. Just my feeling. But back on track here. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. 2 games in a row he's thrown 2 picks apiece. Bad decision making on his part. Bad decision making on the offense.
Once again at the MVP by doing this. This is just further solidifying that Jalen Hurts appears to be the MVP frontrunner right about now. And, don't give me the, what about Patrick argument, Sorry, to me it's Jalen Hurts right now. He's been playing better all around. And, yeah, you could argue they have, the 3rd weakest schedule in the NFL, but he's taken a step up. You still got to work for those wins, and even if they are against weak teams, just right. The numbers don't lie. If you're gonna go on the numbers don't lie. So, unfortunately, I think Josh Allen has taken himself quite a few steps back in that MVP race, and if he wants to get back into it, he's got to get back into a rhythm.
Right. He also needs to understand he does not need to put the team all on his back. He has weapons, he has options out there. Utilize them.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Where's Dawson Knox been all year?
Yeah.
That man was one of the top tight ends last year in touchdowns and touches and stuff like that. This year, he's got, 2 2 touchdowns, where last year, within the first 10 games, he at least had like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like, this man needs to get more involved in the offense. No, this and this goes on Ken Dorsey too. Ken Dorsey needs to understand that you have more than just Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs. Utilize a lot of your other receivers. You have McKenzie. You have another top, rookie, pretty good rookie receiver, and Shakir. You have other options. You also have Nyheim Hines that you can throw the ball to out of the backfield. You have James Cook. You have Singletary that you can utilize out of the backfield. I guess ultimately the blame could be on both Dorsey and Josh Allen. Dorsey needs to know that he's got ways to, make this offense explosive. I mean, look at the first few games before these losses. That offense was looking pretty good and explosive. Last 2 weeks have not been. Ever since the bye week, this offense is not the same. So, going into my next takeaway.
I might just want to add real quick. The Bills, again, I still think they're a Super Bowl favorite, but now they've taken a step back too. I mean, as much as Josh Allen's taken that step back, the Bills have now taken that step back, because now it's like, man, are they going to survive their own division at this point? I mean, they're 0-2 in divisional games.
This always seems to happen to Buffalo right around this time, and then they end up, surprising a lot of people and end up winning the division. So I think this is going to be another Buffalo Bills situation where everybody thinks that they're out of the count, and then they somehow go full steam ahead.
But it's not like the past. It's not like the past, though. I mean, now it's the Dolphins have the weapons, and the Dolphins are clicking right now. I mean, they're, it's just going to keep taking slip-ups like this for the Bills to lose that. It's going to be that one wrong slip-up that's going to be the difference, not just between the 1 and the 2 seed, but now it could be the difference between the 2 seed and the 5 seed. Okay.
Right.
That's just how competitive this AFC is compared to last year, compared to the year before. This is where Ken Dorsey, as an offensive coordinator in the first year in this role, he's got to figure something out. He's got to get creative. He's got to go back to the drawing board here and kind of reinvent what he, essentially reinvent the wheel here.
That's why ultimately I think it would be all right with having Case Keenum playing this game against the Vikings, only because there's not really much footage on Case Keenum with the Buffalo Bills.
But at the same time, this, if the Bills were clicking, could be seen as a Super Bowl matchup. And that's another thing. I mean, granted, I'm sure the Vikings will be a very early exit, but they're the closest threat to the Philadelphia Eagles right now, if not a bigger threat than the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, I can't stress enough, I think he's got to play this game, because if he doesn't, again, this could be, I'm telling you, Bills fans, if they lose this game because Josh Allen didn't play, and they somehow end up with the 5th seed and having to play on the road the whole playoffs, it's going to come back to, man, if we only played Josh Allen, especially if it's a 1-game gap, it's going to come down to, oh man, if we only played Josh Allen against the Vikings, because I think it would have been the difference maker between them, having some sort of home field advantage in having to potentially go to, not Miami, but, maybe Tennessee, or maybe having to go to, it's probably going to be Tennessee, or, maybe Cincy or Baltimore.
Well, I mean, Buffalo under Sean McDermott does not have a very good road track record in the playoffs. All the road playoff games that they have played have all been losses under Sean McDermott, but all the home playoff games have been wins. So they definitely, if anything, if the Buffalo Bills want to get to the Super Bowl,
and if
they got to keep the number 1 seed.
And if you think that Patrick Mahomes at this stage of the season is if you're gonna bank on the fact that he's gonna make a mistake, you're sadly mistaken. If there's any game he's going to drop, I would predict it's next week's matchup against the Chargers based on how close it was the first time through without Keenan Allen.
It would be nice.
Okay. That really, to me, might be the only blemish. But, you could expect the Dolphins to make a mistake, but it's not looking that way right now because it appears that they are firing on all cylinders now that Tua's back.
Right. I just don't understand that. But going on to my second takeaway, all 30 NBA teams have released their city jerseys, and honestly, they look pretty nice. I mean, a lot of the teams look pretty good. I mean, Dallas, I love those Retroplex jerseys. They look so nice. Last year's, they were all right. I mean, if you think about it, what the Dallas Mavericks have done is, I don't know if you've looked at their old school jerseys. Well, the white jerseys from last year were very like their white jerseys of the past. Their blue jerseys are very like 80s like. I think I like them a lot better. They just look a lot more fresher than last year's. Personally, if I'm the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, I would make those retro like jerseys as the current ones. Make the the blue ones as your blue unis, the white ones as your white unis, and then the green ones as your alternate. Because that would be awesome. I like those hardwood classic jerseys so much. Of course, they bring them back every single 5 years. So I think they have another few years before they wear those jerseys again. But personally, I would be all for them. Kind of like, when you were saying that the Miami Heat should make the Miami Vice jerseys their permanent set of jerseys. I think Dallas should make the retro their permanent jerseys. Of course, they're probably not going to, but
this cut and insert with all the jerseys that the Heat have ever had thing is just weird. I can't get behind it. Honestly.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, I don't know if you've got a catch of like some of the city jerseys. I guess my favorite ones are probably the Celtics and the Mavericks. The Celtics actually look very nice.
Houston's aren't bad, honestly.
Houston, I do like that one. I'm pretty sure those are the ones that they had from their, like, those are their classic unis that they made their city unis.
I mean, like the Warriors put a nice touch on theirs. I do like that. And I'm looking through the rest. Like,
I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, like, yellow rose on their jerseys. To be honest with you,
I think that's creative, and that's what they needed to do. Whoever did Chicago's, whoever did whoever did that should just get fired. I mean, that's just copy and paste from whatever jersey that they have right now. What is it? The Celtics kind of remind me of those Christmas jerseys a few years ago, but other than that, I'm looking at the rest, and to be honest, I'm just not that impressed. I mean, the Dallas ones are pretty nice, like you said, but the rest of them I'm not impressed. I think this was kind of a subpar city jerseys this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would happen to probably agree with that. I wasn't a really big fan of, like, the Suns. The Suns jerseys look absolutely,
they don't look right
odd
in blue.
looking.
Same with the Bucks. The Bucks and the Suns don't look right in blue.
I'm pretty sure those Buck jerseys are very like a lot of the teams that have city jerseys this year are their like classic unis that they had, or their alternate unis that they had last year. Houston, their city jerseys are their like their classic unis, but just made them their city unis this year.
Even the Pacers are just disgusting, honestly.
Honestly, one of the other ones that are very underrated, I think Atlanta has very underrated city jerseys. Those look really nice.
It's not terrible, but
um,
just I can't get past the lack of creativity by Chicago.
Oh, I know. I saw theirs. Theirs look like almost like their alternate unis. Like they didn't really put any thought into it. It's like, here, a black uni.
No, that's the white jersey with the Chicago on it, from what I'm seeing. But no, I
don't know.
Again,
either
kind of a
way,
lackluster year. Nonetheless,
this is an interesting pickup, and I honestly don't understand why Buffalo didn't try to go after him, because they are kind of in the market for a safety, especially since Jordan Poyer is out with the elbow injury. Jonathan Abram got picked up by the Packers. He's a definitely interesting name. He's not a bad option as a safety either for the Packers. We got cut on waivers by the Raiders. Packers were like, okay, you know what? Yeah. You know, we could add to our secondary here and bring them in and have them start. You know, with I forgot who their other safety is, but I mean, if you look at their secondary, the secondary is not bad. Packers, probably the best thing that they have going for them on that team is probably their defense, if anything. But I think they only brought in Jonathan Abram to really help out that secondary because they're just giving up way too much yardage on defense. So they thought, oh, okay, maybe bringing in somebody like him will do wonders. Now, as a Bills fan, you know Jordan Poyer possibly could be out for the whole entire rest of the year, as well as Micah Hyde with injury. Why wouldn't you take the option to sign Abram? I hate to say it, nothing against having bringing back the guy that you brought back, from trade deadline, but he would have been a better option than having what we have. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know, honestly. Like, they need to bulk up that secondary in general. I mean, especially if they do go on to play the Chiefs again. So.
Right.
I mean, the Packers have nothing to gain. They have nothing to lose. They're just not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. As harsh as it is to say.
I don't know. I mean, Abram, I'm pretty sure has been, I don't know. I think he's always been with the Raiders for a while too. But honestly, I really do think that he's somebody that can bring a different dynamic to the Packers. But, especially with a team that needs as much help as it can get. I hate to say it, Packers, I don't think you needed a safety. If anything, you needed a damn receiver.
Seriously. Oh my god.
You needed a receiver. You didn't need a safety. That's why this makes absolutely no sense.
It just goes over their heads. That's the problem.
No, because they rather just improve that defense because they apparently think that that's the only problem that they have at them. No, your real problem is that damn offense and receivers that apparently do not know how to run routes and catch the damn ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Packers, you had an opportunity to try to go after Brandon Cooks and you fucking failed.
You still have an opportunity to go after OBJ.
Yeah, and I doubt he's even going to go to the Packers. He's going to go to a team that, is in contention for a Super Bowl. I hate to say it. Nothing against Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys, even though they're very much linked. I've seen a lot of things about possibly him being linked with the Dallas Cowboys. He ain't going to the Cowboys. And if he does, good for him. Good for the Cowboys. I don't think they even really need him, but I mean,
yeah.
it'd be interesting to see where he honestly goes. I do think that he's going to go to a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Chiefs fans, he ain't going there either.
Chiefs don't have any money. But with that, I guess we'll take our break. When we come back, we'll talk the World Series. We'll talk Frank Reich. And, of course, we'll talk our Week 10 NFL picks. So we'll be back in just a moment. All right, they didn't cheat. Maybe. We don't know. But the Houston Astros are World Series champs once again. They're second since 2017. If you still count
and
2017.
that one they did cheat.
Yeah. So, good series, honestly. Very good series when you see a no-hitter.
Right.
So,
personally, it would have been nice to have seen the Phillies.
Yeah.
Astros were just a better team. I guess they really did prove it that they were legit enough to win a World Series. I don't know if you also saw, too, apparently an older gentleman won $75 million on a bet
Mattress Mac.
Astros. Dude, that's insane.
That's Mattress Mac. He always bets on those Astros, and this time it paid off.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Mattress Mac. Can I have a little piece of that money?
Yeah, right? That would be nice.
Yeah. But can I just say, though, as far as the Astros, again, I think this is the prove-it World Series now, you know. They won it technically at this point fair and square.
Mm.
You know, I think they were kind of getting upset and took the, you know, in the Michael Jordan meme way, they took it personally when they heard the booing and the fuck Altuve chants. And now they put it to bed. But I got to point out two things that David Ortiz said that could have very well been Tinkle on this worthy. David Ortiz mentioned in that series, you might as well call the Astros the Yankees' daddy. And I've been very vocal about that because it's so accurate, number one. And number two, Justin Verlander was on the set of the MLB World Series postgame show. And David Ortiz with Kate Upton, who is Justin Verlander's wife, he asked her and him, he's like, hey, Kate, if Justin Verlander plays one more year, you'll be okay with that, right? You know, blow off the family one more year.
Mm.
In other words, a dig at Tom Brady, his, you know, crosstown neighbor. So, another tinkle on this worthy, you know, honorable mention there. And Kate Upton said she would, so Tom, I think you married the wrong woman, buddy. Sorry. Oh, wait, sorry. If he married her in 2006, I'm pretty sure it would have been illegal, so...
Oh, yeah, probably would have, because he is like almost like half his age.
Yeah, I think Kate Upton's like 30-something now.
Well, I mean, now if they wanted it to, they could, but... Yeah. Definitely back in the day. Hell no.
But, alright. Even more bizarre than that, in a move I did not see happening.
Definitely not.
I don't think anybody saw happening. Frank Reich was fired by the Colts.
Well, that I figured was going to.
I figured it'd be end of the year. Not
personally,
mid-season.
they had to do what they had to do.
But even more surprising than Frank Reich getting canned.
One of their former players is now the interim head coach.
And he's never coached a day in his life in college or the pros. Okay, Jeff Saturday, for those who don't know, he is an ESPN analyst right now. Has never coached, again, pros or college, but he did coach high school this year. And if you care to know his record, for his high school team, let's just say you would lose your job if you were in college D1 or the NFL and lost as much as that. 2-7 as a high school coach this year. I think we're both on the same page here when I say you're tanking without saying you're tanking.
It's also safe to say that Jeff Saturday is probably going to run the ball more. I don't know if you've seen videos of Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday getting in physical arguments about Jeff Saturday wanting Peyton to run the ball more, and he's like, "You don't make the fucking plays. I make the fucking plays." I was like, so it's safe to say Jeff Saturday is probably going to actually be like, "You know what, Peyton? Now it's time for me to show you what would have happened if we ran the ball more." And then when you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor, why wouldn't you want to run it more?
And I get that, but when it comes down to going back to Frank Reich,
by the way.
Frank, what's that?
I said, of course I'm just kidding, by the way. I mean, I'm just taking a joke at Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning with their old school playing days.
But Frank Reich, I would love to say as a scapegoat, but when you benched Matt Ryan, for Sam Ellinger, you kind of put yourself in that boat, You kind of said right there that I'm going to take the fall for if this doesn't work out. And there you go.
In the few years that Frank Reich has been with the organization, he had 33 wins, but 33 wins. And look what he had as his coaches. He had Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, and Matt Ryan. I mean, it's not terrible in the 4 or 5 years that he's been in the organization with the quarterbacks that he's had. But if you look at it, the only time he's made playoffs was with Phillip Rivers as his quarterback, which doesn't look good for his track record whatsoever.
So 40-33-1. As an offensive coordinator, he was Super Bowl champion, as we all know.
Right, with Philadelphia.
Yep. I think it's safe to say he might have an OC job coming, if not another head coaching position. And can I be the first to recommend that we replace Joe Lombardi with Frank Reich? Because I think Frank Reich's got more guts than our head coach does.
I mean, Frank Reich, I think, will end up having another job in the NFL, maybe as an offensive coordinator or so. Because I still think that he can do very well with the offense. His decision making as a head coach is definitely not a good one, but I think that he can still run an offense.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Colts situation, it's safe to say forget this season, just tank, grab whatever draft pick you can that can help this organization, and then just look into what would be your best option as a head coach.
No decision could be any bit remotely worse than his replacement.
Than the one that you already made?
No, than the decision that Jim Irsay made. That was a lousy decision to replace him with Jeff Saturday. It was no coaching experience whatsoever.
I thought something that why would you something about why Jim Irsay hiring his drinking buddy? I was like, that wouldn't shock me. I mean, Jim Irsay has had some partying issues, if we all know. But yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that they're tanking, and they're tanking in the wrong way.
Yeah. There's going to be new rules soon for tanking if he keeps pulling that, but...
I mean, Possibly, but in the end of the day, is it really his fault with the whole Matt Ryan situation and the reason why they've only won?
Yeah, I get it, but with that, I think it's time to move on to some picks here. So we start with the game that's already in progress in not London, but Germany, Munich, Germany.
Yeah, the first time that NFL is in Germany.
Yep, and it's the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. Tampa Bay favored by 2.5.
I don't know if I like it. That the Buccaneers are favored. I'm gonna have to go with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are just a lot better of a team than the Buccaneers are.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. I think they got this. Buccaneers are like a work in progress right now.
Right.
Vikings, Bills favored by 3.
I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, getting some very big defensive guys like Matt Milano and Tre'Davious White back is going to be huge for this team. Possibly no Tremaine Edmonds, no Kaiir Elam. Dane Jackson should be back in the fold, so I think Buffalo, defensively wise, will be better than last week, so that will be a big, huge thing. But we do not know if Josh Allen's going to be playing or if it's going to be Case Keenum. So, honestly, and this might be the first time I actually go against the Buffalo Bills, especially for the rest of the year. I'm going to have to go with the Vikings here. I have a strong feeling that Buffalo is not going to win this game. I could be wrong, but I just have that strong feeling that they're not going to win.
I got a feeling that Minnesota's going to take this one as well. Just Dalvin Cook's been good this year. Kirk Cousins playing well. Justin Jefferson. Really, ever since they got that new coach, it's just like something's finally clicking over there.
Right.
So I got to go with the Vikings here in what could potentially, and I say potentially, be the Super Bowl matchup when we go to, oh my gosh, where is the Super Bowl this year? Houston? Arizona. When we go to Arizona.
It could be.
Yeah, here we go. This could be probably one of the better sloppy 1 o'clock games. Lions and Bears. Oh my. And the Bears are favored by 2.5.
See, I like the Bears in the situation only because they almost damn near they outdueled with. I mean, they didn't really outduel, but they dueled with the Miami Dolphins, and they were this close, close to possibly have won that game. So I'm going to have to go with the Bears. The Bears have been looking pretty good. I think they're a lot better than what their record shows right now. Justin Fields, I should say, has been playing pretty well as of late.
But,
and I get it. The Lions, the
same argument can be made on the other side.
I know.
The Lions could be 4-4 right now if things were different.
I just think that the Bears, with the advantage at home, is what is getting the edge for me here. If it was in Detroit, I would probably say maybe Detroit. But since Chicago is at home, I think that the advantage is on their side. Yeah. And that I think they're going to take the win here.
I think it's going to be the Lions. They're coming off a big win last week against the Packers, a team that's absolutely owned them the last few years. I think that brings some momentum to a young team like the Lions, so I got to give them the edge here. And I still don't buy Justin Fields again, and I can't stress that one enough. But Broncos, Titans, Titans favored by 2.5.
I'm gonna have to go with the Titans.
No doubt.
I can't trust Russell Wilson in this Broncos team at all.
I gotta go with the Lions too. Not the Lions, the Titans. Oh man, but I gotta go with the Titans here. I just don't see that being a game that's winnable for Denver. Kansas City, the Chiefs, and the Jags. The Chiefs favored by 9.5.
Is this even like a question? I mean, it's gonna be the Chiefs. Let's be honest.
I feel like the Jags could make it interesting, but it's still gonna be the Chiefs by a pretty decent margin. Browns, Dolphins, Dolphins favored by 3.5.
See, I don't know why your brother is so scared about them possibly losing to the Browns. I just don't see it. I think the Dolphins are gonna get the win here at home.
I think it's gonna be a close matchup, honestly. I mean, the Browns have easily the best run game in the league right now. You know, and you look at some of the Browns' losses, they've been in it. It's not like they're, well out. So, I'm going to go with the Dolphins, though, but it's going to be close. Texans, Giants. Giants favored by 4.5.
Come on, it's just a question. The Texans have just been looking shitty all year. The Giants, I'm going to have to pull for the Giants here at home.
Yeah, sorry, I got to go with the Giants here. I believe in Brian Dable. I think he's going to get it done.
Mark my words, Lovie Smith is going to be the next head coach that's going to get fired this year. Which would be sad because it'll be 2 years in a row that the Texans have released a head coach. But I see it happening. I hate to say it to Lovie Smith. I just don't think he has it anymore.
Yeah, he shouldn't be, but, man. I don't know. I don't think Lovie Smith should be canned. I mean, look at the roster around him minus Damian Pierce.
I get it. Again, I just think that, even though you have that kind of roster surrounding Davis Mills, there's no way you should be 1-6-1.
Yep. Saints Steelers. New Orleans favored by 1.5.
I don't know. Saints have been playing crappy all year long. Steelers have been too. I'm going to probably go with the Saints. I think the defense is going to be what's going to help them win this game.
Saints will barely pull this one off. Honestly.
But then again, it wouldn't shock me if Pittsburgh does get the upset and win, honestly.
I don't know. I just don't think Dennis Allen's the right guy for New Orleans. In all honesty,
clearly not.
But that's why I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with New Orleans barely because Steelers are just, oh my goodness, they need a lot of help.
Right.
But Colts Raiders favored by 4.5, and based on the news this week, I mean, are we gonna question that?
No. Raiders.
Yep, sorry. I gotta go Raiders here. This is just absolute bullshit tanking. But Cowboys, Packers. This is Mike McCarthy's first return, I believe, to Green Bay since he lost the coaching gig.
I want to say probably.
But nonetheless, Dallas favored by 4.
Personally, I would love to say Packers, but I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys here.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse schedule for Dallas. Okay, so I got to go with them. Cardinals, Rams. This could be another big game this weekend. And the Rams are favored by 3.
Can we just say that it could be 0-3 since the new COD game comes out? No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, these two teams always play each other really tough. So, who knows? I'm probably gonna go to the Rams, honestly. I think Kyler Murray is more focused on the video game than he is with his own damn team, so.
Yeah. I gotta go with the Rams here. It's clear that D-Hop and Kyler Murray aren't getting along right now. So, there's some issues over there. They need to work on it. I gotta go with the Rams. Chargers and 49ers. San Fran favored by 7.
Yeah, I hate to say it about your team there, but they're gonna lose to the 49ers.
I will graciously admit it. They're gonna lose. So, 49ers for me as well. Commandos and Eagles. Oh man, I think we both know who we're picking here. And still undefeated, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I just don't like their, that they're claiming that they're, their road to perfection. It ain't gonna happen. They had to play teams like the Titans. They're not beating the Tennessee Titans. I hate to say it. I don't think they're gonna even beat the Giants or the Cowboys either. To be honest with you, but
yeah.
But they're definitely going to get the win against the Commanders here.
But all right, on to Thursday night, and it's the Titans and the Packers. With the Packers favored by a point.
How are they favored in this game? I mean, if they lose, that's going to be a tough week, a tough short week to have to try to get things back together against the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to have to say the Titans.
Man, I'm going to go with the Packers here. I think this is the game they'll barely pull out. So, with that though, that's our picks for this week. Sorry, we're kind of falling asleep. It's been a really long week for both of us, but here we go. Tinkle on this. Adam Schefter. Man, well, first off, Kirk Cousins, if you didn't see the video on the plane, he had all these like gold chains around his neck. Kind of looked like Mr.
Celebrating the 7th win of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And he kind of looked like white Mr. T, in a way. Just without the mohawk. Well, Adam Schefter the next night decided to put on his own impression of Kirk Cousins. And let's just say he looked like Mr. T with the white Mr. T with a dad bod.
I was just going to say, no, that was unappealing on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, so Adam Schefter, I pity the fool that makes fun of Mr. T and does so terribly. And for that, my friend, I pity the fool because you're tinkling on this. So,
yeah.
No out of turn 4 until January. Just thought I'd release that programming note. There's no more racing for the season after Joey Logano claimed the NASCAR Cup Series championship. By the way, rest in peace, Coy Gibbs. In case you didn't hear, Ty Gibbs' dad passed away just hours after he won the NASCAR Xfinity Series title. Of course, I had a lot of thoughts on that Xfinity Series championship on our last episode of Out of Turn 4, and I kind of sat back and reserved myself because I just don't want to stir the pot. I don't want to upset race fans who are clearly visibly shaken by that loss of Coy, so I left it alone. Had to take the high road. But with that, maybe Jason, depending on how AEW goes, he might choose not to take the high road about certain things. But what's coming up on No Final Bell?
Yeah, the road to Full Gear is shaping up big time. Of course, I guess a programming note this week is going to still be regular show, but the next week afterwards it will be pay-per-view special. It's going to be Full Gear and Overdrive from Impact.
Mm-hmm.
And also great news. Saraya, the formerly Paige, is actually
Yep. Did we?
Is now 100% cleared. She will be able to actually compete for the first time in so long. She had to retire because of neck issues, neck and everything like that. So it is nice to see her back into the fold and 100% cleared and being able to actually compete, as she will be facing off against Britt Baker at Full Gear. So AEW is shaping up more and more to the pay-per-view. Of course, this coming next week's Dynamite will be the go-home show to Full Gear in Newark, New Jersey. So be definitely look out for that, as that's going to be the only real thing that's going to be happening with that. So
yeah, tune in Wednesday at 5 for No Final Bell. YouTube, Facebook watch.
Of course, last episode was a day later, but we'll make sure to have it on Wednesday at 5 going forward. If other than that, we will definitely update you guys on it, post it on social media and stuff like that, so then you're not out of the loop.
Yeah, but with that, yeah, it's a shame we don't have Out of Turn 4, but again, the reason, just no racing going on, so why upload an episode? So, but keep an eye on social media. There might be some Out of Turn 4 updates, you never know. Not videos, but maybe posts. Just keep an eye out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you back here next week with another edition of Sunday Morning Tinkle. Till then, goodbye, everyone.